Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to the University of Houston's new graduate student orientation for fall 2024. Welcome to the University of Houston and to graduate school. We are delighted that you have chosen the University of Houston for your graduate studies. My name is Sarah Larson, and I am the Vice Provost and Dean of the Graduate School and a professor of chemistry. I am passionate about graduate education and about supporting graduate student success. Before we get started, let's get oriented to the webinar platform. To ask a question, just click the Q&A tab at any time during today's webinar. You can also like and upvote questions if they're the same as your question. So if you see a question that you have in mind as well, you can like that and we'll know to answer that with priority. So take a minute to identify the Q&A tab. That's where you'll put in your questions when you have them. You can also we've also attached some handouts that you can view or download at any time during the presentation. So if you go next to the Q&A tab, you'll see a handouts tab, and there are a number of handouts there, including the slides for this presentation. You can download those as PDF files. These slides, we have a file called UH Life Hacks. We have some other resources as well available for download under that handouts tab. So take just a moment to identify the Q&A and the handout tab. Also, we will share the recording of today's orientation session with you. So after this session, you'll get an email with a recording of this session that you can refer back to. So today we will provide you with information about academic and administrative policies. Our campus partners will also present and will host a student panel. The University of Houston is located in Houston, the fourth largest city in the US. Houston is home to the largest medical center in the world and serves as headquarters to 24 Fortune 500 companies. The University of Houston is a public Carnegie Tier 1 research university with approximately 8,000 graduate and professional students and a total student body of almost 47,000. We have over 150 graduate and professional degree programs, including law, optometry, pharmacy, and a relatively new College of Medicine. You are joining over 2,500 new graduate and professional students this fall from all over the country and the world. Collectively, you are studying over 100 different academic areas. Your graduate experience at the University of Houston will be enriched by the diversity of your fellow students and the diversity of the subjects that you are studying. So think for a moment about the reasons that you decided to attend graduate school. So educational level is on the rise. 14% of the US population over the age of 25 has a master's, professional, or doctoral degree. And that has increased from about 8.6% in 2008. If we look at a recent Gallup poll that looked at the reasons for wanting to attend graduate school, we see passion and high interest in academic area as being one of the top reasons, as well as high-paying jobs, advancement opportunities, particularly in careers, and preparation for many types of jobs. So if you think about your reasons for wanting to attend graduate school, I suspect you'll find one or more of these at the top of your personal list as well. So you've made an excellent choice in the University of Houston for your graduate studies. At the University of Houston, we are committed to 4 pillars of academic excellence in graduate education: student success, first and foremost, groundbreaking research, top faculty, and global and local engagement. I'm sure that you are excited about the start of this new chapter of your education. I suspect that you may also be feeling some uncertainty about your new surroundings and the challenges that you may encounter. This is not unusual, and we hope that this orientation will increase the excitement that you are feeling and alleviate some of your uncertainty. As you will see, there are many resources on campus to help you navigate graduate school. As you begin your graduate studies, keep in mind the following 4 pieces of advice. Explore. Explore the curriculum. Get to know your graduate program expectations. Graduate school provides an opportunity to be innovative and creative in your research and scholarship and to follow your passion. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Engage. Engage with the campus community and the greater Houston community. Establish a strong network. Campus events such as this one are an excellent opportunity to make connections. Learn. Learn about the many resources available to you in your department or program, in the graduate school, across campus, and beyond. Use these resources. Some will be important now, and some will be important later. And finally, enjoy. The University of Houston and the global city of Houston have a great deal to offer you. Arts, culture, food, sports. We will start this session with an overview of some of the resources and administrative processes at the University of Houston. Our first speaker is Catherine Carter from the UH Library. Catherine.
Hi, thank you. And hello, everyone. Welcome to the University of Houston. My name is Catherine Carter, and I'm a librarian with the University of Houston Libraries. So I'm here to give you an overview of the support that we provide during your time here at U of H. So the UH Libraries has 5 main locations, including MD Anderson Library, which is the main library on campus, the William R. Jenkins Architecture, Design, and Art Library in the Gerald D. Hines College of Architecture and Design, the Health Sciences Library located in the Health 2 building, the Medical Library in the new College of Medicine building, and the Music Library in Morris School of Music, along with Special Collections, which is housed in MD Anderson Library. So at MD Anderson Library, swiping your physical Cougar card is the fastest way to get entry into the library through the gates. You can also have your digital Cougar card scanned by security to get inside as well. That's a relatively new development that we're implementing as of this summer, and that is very helpful in case you don't have your physical Cougar card with you. And if you don't have either one, then you can always check in with security with a valid ID of any kind. From the library's website, you have access to online databases and our catalog, where you can search for books and journals. We have a lot of print materials, as well as access to many online resources, including streaming videos. So as graduate students, you can check out books for 15 weeks or about a full semester. You can also request articles and book chapters to be scanned and delivered to you electronically. So even if we don't have a certain resource, you can always request that we provide it to you, and we try to accommodate as many requests as possible. We have a wide variety of technology and equipment that is available for short-term loan. These include things like laptops, digital cameras, video recorders, projectors, and so on and so forth. So we have a lot of different technology. You can find that all on our website to see all of the different types of things that we will lend out. The libraries are also a really great place to come and study. In the MD Anderson Library, we have a computer lab on the main floor, group study rooms, and also individual study carrels. There are also some areas of the building that are designated as silent study zones. So if you prefer silent areas to study, then you will have access to those. They're designated by the different signage around the library. So there's plenty of options if you need a place to study. We have also a teaching and learning department that can work with you to support you in your role as teachers, if any of you are going to be working as teaching assistants or teaching fellows. So the Teaching and Learning Department can work with you to integrate research, inquiry, and information literacy into any of the courses that you teach. And they do this by teaching course integrated workshops focused on different research concepts or assignments. They can also work with you to craft meaningful research assignments that can integrate library collections. and providing online learning materials, including research guides, videos, and asynchronous online lessons. They also provide research support to you, both as a teacher as well as a student, through the help of research consultations on topics like literature reviews, locating relevant research or data, developing search strategies, and scoping research projects or papers. And teaching and learning librarians are available to meet with you even online. So even if you are not physically out on campus, we can still support you. And then there are other ways that the libraries can support you with your teaching. So, for example, with course reserves, you can use course reserves to place learning materials, online in the Canvas learning management system, or you can put physical material on short-term loan in the library so that all students in your class can have access to them. Another way we support teaching is we support the adoption, creation, and publication of open educational resources, and we provide support for open pedagogy assignments. And then, of course, we have special collections, and this is where you can find unique research collections, rare books, and university archives. Many of you may be interested in these for your own research, as well as for your teaching. Special collections also can work with classes to integrate those unique materials into the classroom. And then the last point on the slide is about how the libraries can support you with your research. We offer a variety of resources, services, and infrastructure that are available to all UH scholars. So for example, our research services department offers workshops and consultations on topics such as finding research data management, data visualization and analysis methods, data sharing, archiving and preservation, scholarly publishing, and more. They also coordinate the campus-wide thesis and dissertation submissions process and provide guidance around embargoes, copyright, and licensing of those works. So if you are going to be working on a thesis or dissertation during your graduate work, then you will be in touch with our research services department who can support you in that whole process. So I will be monitoring the Q&A to answer any of the questions that you might have about the libraries. In the meantime, I will go ahead and pass it over to our next speaker. Thank you.
Hello and good afternoon. My name is Sandra Hebert. I am a licensed professional counselor and clinician over in the Counseling and Psychological Services Department. We go by CAPS for short. So we are the counseling department for students throughout your time here. If you are needing some assistance with your mental health concerns, that is something that we can definitely help with. So I'm going to take just a moment to go over a brief overview of our services. Again, if you have questions, definitely welcome you to place them into the chat or the Q&A section, and I'll do my best to answer them. So we have a really diverse staff to carry out the mission and vision of the CAPS department. So I'll kind of summarize a bit. We're here to serve students and to contribute to overall student success by prioritizing awareness and treatment of mental health concerns. We seek to assess students where they are with their needs and connect them to resources both in-house here at CAPS and sometimes off campus based on what your needs are and how to get those needs met. We seek to have a positive impact on each and every student's well-being throughout your time here at U of H, as well as beyond. So that just kind of summarizes our mission and vision. And so now I want to just talk to you briefly about our services. So we don't have a one-size-fits-all model for mental health because, of course, different concerns can come in a variety of different ways for different students. So to just kind of go over what services we do offer, of course, we have brief individual and couples therapy. So I'll talk a little bit more about what the brief part means in a moment. We have group therapy, essential skills workshops, basically teaching you some skills and tools that can help you to manage anxiety, manage frustration and overwhelm, those sorts of things. We do offer crisis intervention as well. And I'll talk some more about that in just a moment. Care coordination is a service that we offer when, for some reason, maybe you have a need that is a bit larger than what we can meet here in CAPS. And so we do support you along the way to getting connected with services off campus or even throughout campus, different campus resources that can be helpful at meeting your needs and easing that mental stress load. We do refer you to those resources both on and off campus as well. Let's Talk is another service that I want to point out. It's more of an informal service that you don't have to complete any paperwork for. Let's say you've never talked to a counselor before. It's not the same as having a full, hour-long session, but it is a short consultation with a counselor on our staff. And what that can do is, just as needed, kind of help to address any concerns that come up. Let's say you're navigating some stress for upcoming deadlines or due dates or tests, and you're just needing some coping skills to help with that. That's a good place to start. And then, of course, we can always point you in the right direction for engaging in some of our ongoing services. And so QPR is our standard, or I should say our essential workshop training that we offer for faculty, staff, and students. And it's a suicide prevention training. QPR stands for Question, Persuade, Refer. And so we do encourage, like I said, students, faculty, and staff to take this training to learn how to navigate, challenges that may come up with your peers, or even how to help yourself in some ways, and just kind of support that culture of care that we promote here at U of H. We also offer support groups that can assist with grief management, relationships. It just kind of depends on the semester. We're offering different groups, as the need arises for students. Okay, and so how to access our CAPS services. The best way to access any of our formal or ongoing services would be to either call or drop in for an access visit. And so from there, we can do a short assessment. You'll complete some paperwork, and then we meet with you one-on-one with the counselor on duty to be able to assess your needs and connect you to the right service. So this is a free visit. It's offered Monday through Friday between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. If you're coming in person, we're in the Health 2 building, which is right next to the Campus Recreation Center. We're on the second floor next to the Student Health Center in Unit 2005. And so, and alternatively, if you can't make it to us in person, you can give us a call. Our main phone number is listed there, 713-743-5454. And so you can call in between those hours, Monday through Friday, and you can request to do an access visit either virtually or over the phone, and you'll complete the paperwork via email. So those are the three ways to get an access visit done. And like I said, from there, we'll connect you to one of the appropriate services, either in-house or off campus. Also, a quick note about our phone number. It is a 24-hour crisis line as well. So even if it's after hours and you're wanting to connect to some support, you can always call that main number and you will be connected with a counselor on duty who can help you with any concerns you're having. And then we also promote the National Crisis Line, which used to be this long phone number, but now it's been condensed to 988, which is pretty easy to remember. And you can either call or text that number if you're having any challenges or crisis that you would need some support with. So again, that's just a really quick overview. All of our information is on our website. So you can visit uh.edu/CAPS. And all of this information is detailed for you there. Also, follow us on social media for any updates about ongoing services, changes in our hours, and just fun stuff that we engage in on campus. So want to thank you again for your time. Welcome to U of H, and I'm going to pass it along to our next presenter. All right, take care.
Good afternoon. My name is Reggie Brazel. I'm the Director of Financial Aid Processing here at U of H, and really happy to be a part of what's going on today. And of course, welcome to U of H. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about financial aid and how to get that financial aid for your graduate education. And of course, financial aid is, I'm going to talk a little bit about what it is and how you can qualify, how your eligibility is calculated, and some of the programs that we offer here at U of H. And I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. You can put them in the Q&A section, and we'd be more happy to answer those for you today as well. Okay, what is financial aid? Well, financial aid is any type of financial assistance, whether federal, state, institutional, or private. And we're very fortunate here at U of H to have a cadre of financial aid that we can offer students. Of course, it's provided to help you fund your education, your graduate school courses, and et cetera. So we're really fortunate to have quite a bit of aid to offer students. Now, to get the aid, of course, it's really important that you apply. And of course, the first process is to go into FAFSA, FSA ID to get an ID first. If you've not already done that, you go to fsaid.ed.gov. And then pick up a FAFSA ID. The FAFSA ID is what the Department of Education will use to kind of identify who you are throughout the process of you using financial aid. And after that, you'll go to the FAFSA, the studentaid.gov, and actually complete the FAFSA if you've not already done so. If you're doing it just now, you'll use your 2022 income to apply for the 24-25 academic year. The Department of Education opened up this year back in December of 2023. And of course, this year is already started now. And for next year, it's going to open up again in December as well. This has been a real challenging year for the FAFSA because it's relatively new in regard to things that DOE is requiring. But anyway, what you do, you use your 2022 tax returns to fill out the FAFSA this year. And of course, we have a priority deadline date of March 15th, which is already gone, but we have priority deadline dates to get certain funds for the most part. For graduate students, you should review your SAR once you get it and look at the document that the Department of Education will send you to give you an idea of what you may qualify for. Of course, the good thing about being a grad student is all grad students are considered independent students for financial aid purposes. You'll get those dollars designed for independent students. This year, you may be selected for verification. Well, that's really any year, and that's something the Department of Education just does at random. We have no idea of how they do that, who they choose, but for the most part, they can select you and to verify your data, require us to verify your data to be sure that what you put in the FAFSA is the same thing that you made the 2 years ago. And then, of course, we can process it from there. If that does happen, of course, we'll request certain documentation from you, and then you send us the documentation, and we'll take it from there. Now, the verification process is random, and of course, we don't really know when and how they choose, but that is something that the Department of Education does. In regard to calculating your financial aid for this year it's changed from an EFC last year to an SAI. This is a new term, which is called Student Aid Index number. And that number is really what we utilize to determine how much financial aid you can actually receive. We don't determine that number. The Department of Education determines that number based on how much money you had or you made, whether in 2022. And then based on that number, we can determine what kind of financial aid we can give you here. We develop what we call a cost of attendance. In fact, every institution across the country has to develop this cost of attendance for whatever it takes to go to school there. And of course, it includes tuition fees and books and supplies and living expenses such as food and housing and transportation and personal expenses. We give averages based on the cost of expenses in Houston for the most part. And then Based on that COA, we can determine how much actual dollars we can give students. We base your need on subtracting what your SCI is from your COA, and then that determine your need. For example, if your cost of attendance is $20,000 and your student aid index number is 5,000, we'll take 5,000 away from 20,000. Of course, your need now will be $15,000. And what we do, we can actually package you up to that particular need. The graduate school, where there's a graduate school fund. Of course, that school fund is need-based as well. You must be eligible by completing the FAFSA. That's important. Either you can be an eligible non-citizen or just a U.S. citizen to qualify. The priority consideration is given to students who complete their FAFSAs and provide the additional documents that we need by April 1st. Of course, you have to be classified as a Texas resident, have to be a degree-seeking grad student, and then you must satisfy academic progress standards for financial aid. In every program, in order to continue your financial aid, you must satisfy this academic standard based on whatever the graduate GPA requirement is in your particular area. But we look at SEP at the end of every year, and we process your SEP based on your grades and based on your attendance. And then at that point, we can fund you for the next year. We do have you have the opportunity of getting loans. And loans, of course, is one of the biggest options for grad students. Grad students can only qualify for unsubsidized loans and private loans. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But unsubsidized loans are those loans that the Department of Education will allow students to receive. There's no credit checks required for unsub loans. Of course, you're responsible for paying the loans back 6 months after you graduate or you're no longer enrolled in at least 5 hours. With unsubsidized loans, of course, the interest has been accrued to the loan during the life of the loan. Now you have the right or you have the option, if you choose, to pay on that interest while you have the loan if you choose to, but you don't necessarily have to do that. The loan amount, the annual amount for students, for graduate students, is $20,500 a year. That's basically the max that the unsub loans will allow us to give you, which is like $10,250 every term. So that's the maximum amount for that particular loan. As long as you don't go over your cost of attendance, you're going to be good. The interest rate on this particular loan is like 7.05%, and the Department of Education determines that interest rate. We don't determine that, and it may vary from year to year depending upon certain things that the feds are looking at. And again, I said the repayment of these loans don't happen until 6 months after you graduate or after you're no longer enrolled in at least 5 hours. And in order to qualify for these loans, you have to be enrolled in at least 5 hours as well. Now, there are other alternatives in addition to the unsubsidized loan. You may qualify for a Grad Plus loan as well. And to do that, you need to go to studentaid.gov online. When you apply for these loans, you have to do an MPN, a master promissory note, and also entrance counseling. And once those items have been completed, of course, we can begin to process your eligibility. The only thing with Grad Plus loans, these are credit-worthy based loans, and the Department of Education will check your credit. We don't check your credit. They'll check your credit, and of course, based on your credit, they'll let us know if you're able to get the monies, and then we'll process it from there. These loans can also be up to cost of attendance minus any other financial aid you may receive. So it's quite possible for you to get the unsub loan and the Grad Plus at the same time if the cost of attendance warrants that. But these loans are credit-worthy loans. Then lastly, we have private loans, or alternative loans you can apply for. You apply for these loans with a selected lender that you choose. You can go online to look at the lenders that we have. And of course, it's based on creditworthiness as well. And some of these loans may require you to have a co-signer if you're wanting to use alternative private loan, which is strictly your option to do so. Once these loans have been approved, they'll send it to us to process, and then we'll put that to the business owner, apply it to your account, and that's how you get those dollars. Additionally, we have a really good source from grad schools. The graduate school students may apply for funding through the grad school itself. You will go to uh.edu.gradschool, grad school funding, graduate funding, and this is more or less grant dollars that you can qualify for based on certain criteria. These monies are not designed to pay back, but this is another source of financial aid that students can receive. That's it for me. I will answer any questions for you. Just put them in the Q&A. If you want more information about financial aid, just go to uh.edu/financial aid. You can get multiple of information for you, and feel free to just ask any questions you may have. At this time, we're going to continue and put you in touch with our next presenter, Dr. Jones.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Good afternoon, graduate students. My name is Tashima Jones. I am the Director of Graduate Academic Affairs in the Graduate School. I'm going to go over a few, sorry about that. So there are a lot of things here at U of H that you can do on your own as a graduate student. And that is also going to be done in your My UH Access. And you can add and drop a class, make payments, update your contact information, apply to graduate, parking permits, and also getting your Cougar card. Those are things that you can do on your own. You don't need assistance for that. And also, I would suggest checking your UH email frequently, as there are many correspondences that will go to your UH email account. I want to take a moment to inform you of how UH is structured. UH is structured on 4 levels, the home base being your point of contact, which is your graduate advisor. This is going to be where your academic program lies. And then secondly, it's going to be your department. This is where your program field of study lies. And third, this is called the college. This is headed by your associate, assistant deans, as well as your dean's office. And then there is the graduate school. We are 4th in line. We're in the office of the provost. Now, I would suggest that you always start with your graduate advisor for many of your questions, your petitions, if you're needing to take a leave of absence, anything to adding or dropping a class after official reporting day, which is short for ORD. Those are things that you would need to contact your graduate advisor first for. And then we have academic requirements as a graduate student. You must maintain a 3.0 GPA, and any grades below C does not count as passing. Please keep in mind that our professional programs such as law, optometry, College of Medicine, and pharmacy have different grading requirements, and please look at those in the graduate catalog as well as their website. So we also have academic warning and probation, and that is if a student's cumulative GPA falls below a 3.0, the student is placed on an academic warning. Now you will have an opportunity to bring your GPA to a standard, to a passing, which is 3.0 or higher. If not, then you will be placed on academic probation. Make sure that you review the full policy in the graduate catalog. So as a graduate student, there is a time limitation to when you can complete your master's or your doctoral degree. For a master's degree, you must complete it within 5 years of enrollment, and a doctoral degree is 10 years. Now, please keep in mind that if you take a leave of absence or a medical leave for any reason, the clock does not stop. You need to make sure that you, as a doctoral student, you complete your degree within 10 years, because once you exceed 99 semester credit hours, without completing your degree, you will be charged non-resident premium tuition rates. So make sure that you are reviewing the academic calendar, but also staying on top of your time limitations. And also make sure that you are staying in great communication with your graduate advisor. So we do have an excused absence policy. So graduate students are required to stay in attendance for fall and spring. Summer may be depending on your department, but anytime that you may need to take a leave of absence, such as an excused absence, there is a close relative death in the family, medical illness, you need to take care of a parent, you can request a leave of absence. But remember, again, the clock does not stop if you do so. So take a look at this website. Again, as Dean Larson mentioned, these will be available to you through an email link once our presentations are concluded. So you will have access to this. So you will be able to obtain internet access or Access UH and Canvas, sorry about that. We no longer use Blackboard here, but you will be able to obtain that information. And also you will be able to access Office 365 for free at no cost to you. Just go onto this website and you will have to put in your UH access information, not a Gmail, not a Yahoo, not a Hotmail. It needs to be your UH email. So in summary, these are just a few websites that I want to mention, especially our graduate school website. Make sure that you familiarize yourself with this. We have a lot of information on there from financial aid, GTF, admissions, and academic affairs, as well as our professional development is on there. And then the graduate catalog is also important. You need to make sure that you are familiarizing yourself with our graduate catalog, especially with the policies within your department. And then the academic calendar. There are a lot of deadlines in place and dates that you need to remember, especially like ORD, when to apply to graduate, when the last day to apply to graduate. So a lot of good information on those websites. We do have professional development, and it's really good professional development. So we have CIRTL, Center for Integration Research, Teaching and Learning, and then Dissertation Accelerator, which I am hosting this week. I always host this a week before classes start for fall and spring. So whenever you are ready to start writing your dissertation, I would highly suggest that you apply for Dissertation Accelerator. We also have the 3-minute thesis, short for 3MT, as well as our Graduate and Professional Student Association. We have someone here to talk to you about that today. We also like to collaborate with our campus partners, University Career Services, Library, Writing Center, and CAPS, just to name a few. That concludes the academic affairs portion of the presentation, and I'm now going to hand it over to my colleague, Sherry Corprew, the director of the graduate school.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending and thank you for your questions. I'm going to start my presentation off by, if you notice a common theme, we have a lot of our information on our website. So I strongly recommend that you start there, uh.edu, and at the top right, there is a search bar. Whatever it is that you're wanting to ask about, just type it into the search bar, treat it just like Google, and it'll provide you to the best fitted website. And so we pride ourselves and try our best to provide the most up-to-date information and inclusive information that you're looking for. So that is a great place to start, so you don't have to wait in line and things like that, and save your time. All right, so I'm going to start out talking about all things related to money and policies tied to the funds that we provide here. And the programs that we provide here. So the first thing that we're going to talk about are our assistantships here. If you don't already have one and are familiar with our positions, we have the teaching fellow, teaching assistant, instructional assistant, research assistant, graduate assistant, and the graduate assistant non-exempt. And so the graduate assistant is a salaried position, which means you're paid monthly, and then the non-exempt is hourly. And so if you don't already have a position, like I had mentioned, there are opportunities that become available throughout the year. You can check with your department, but more than likely the academic departments aren't going to have positions available, maybe some of our administrative offices. And so if you do check Cougar Pathway, that's where we encourage and strongly suggest that all of our departments that are not academic post their positions. And so you can check there. If you're looking for a virtual assistantship, working remote option, that just depends on the hiring department. It's not all virtual. And so as with anything else here, our programs have requirements. And so as Tashima mentioned earlier, the good basis for almost all of our programs at the graduate level is 3.0 cumulative GPA, and then maintaining full-time enrollment, unless you're like in a part-time program or something like that, but maintaining and completing full-time enrollment. And here at the University of Houston at the graduate level, not full-time enrollment is 9 credit hours. Now be sure to also check with your department or look in the the catalog, because some programs can set higher standards. Here we offer two different type of in-state tuition waivers. So we have a competitive scholarship waiver that is offered through if you have a competitive scholarship of $1,000 or more. That does not mean just because you have a $1,000 scholarship or you think it's competitive that it qualifies for this waiver. That is not the case. It has to go through, it goes through an administrative process and it is vetted to determine if it is eligible to offer an in-state or competitive scholarship waiver. The other option is the employment waiver, and this is if you are in a teaching or research assistant position. So that's our teaching fellow, teaching assistant, or instructional assistants, or research assistant positions. And so there are of course other requirements tied to this employment waiver. As with anything else, there are minimum standards, and you must maintain eligibility in an assistantship in one of those assistantship positions in order to maintain your eligibility for the employment waiver. Because if you're not employed, then you can't receive the waiver. And so you'll want to, again, if you're looking for these opportunities, not too many are available at this point in the academic year, or for the upcoming year, then you can check out Cougar Pathway as well to see if there is anything left available. But if you are getting this employment waiver, be sure to become very familiar with this MAP policy. These are all the requirements that must be met and maintained in order to keep your employment waiver. Graduate funding. So again, I had mentioned earlier at the start of my presentation that we pride ourselves on our website and try to keep the information very inclusive and in depth. And so we have that here on our graduate funding website. So take a look there. FAFSA. So if we have for all of our domestic students, here are the requirements that are needed. My colleague, Dr. Reggie over there might have touched on this already, but these are the requirements that must be met in order to qualify to complete a FAFSA. If it is kind of small, a lot of information, you can also find this information on FAFSA, FAFSA.gov, and you can find the requirements there that are needed in order to qualify to complete a FAFSA. Selective service. So this is a lot of requirements for a lot of funding that we offer here at the institution, as this is a state requirement. And so they require that you complete the selective service requirement. And so you will get this added to your to-do list. And so if you haven't already set up your email preference where it can be routed, all of the emails from the university are routed, you can go ahead and set that up. Definitely set that up, because that's how we'll communicate with you most of the time, is through our emails. And so make sure you have that set up, because if something is added to your to-do list, such as this selective service requirement, then once it's added, it's supposed to send you a communication, and then you can log in and click on the item and see what are the requirements and what you need to do to complete that to-do list item. Here are where you can find our tuition and fees for the academic year. They change every academic year. So if you want to look at it again, you can go to uh.edu and type in tuition, or you can copy and paste this link to find out the tuition, or you can just look at your fee bill. And then in the table below that these are our mandatory fees for the 24-25 academic year. The fall orientation is also a fun time. It's also a great time to remind you, because today is the fee bill deadline for sessions 1, 2, and 3. So if you haven't already set up your payment plans or paid your fee bill, please be sure to do that today, and make sure, because otherwise you risk your classes being dropped. Unless you're one of our students that we've communicated with you that we will protect your classes. So if you have not done so, go ahead and log. Sorry about that, guys. Had technical issues here. Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry about that. So today is the fee bill deadline. If you have not set up, that up, you go ahead and do so, because they're probably going to drop classes pretty soon. And so you can do that. You can also go to our payment plan website, which is uh.edu, and you can type /SBS, which stands for Student Business Services. And there at the bottom, you'll see a link to our payment plans. And there it'll talk about what we offer here. And so just a little bit of the information that we have here talking about our payment plans. We have an installment plan, which basically breaks up the fee bill amount for the term and breaks it up into about 4 or 5 payments. And then we also have the emergency deferment option, which is if you don't live on campus, and then you're basically moving out the due date from 90 days from now. And so instead of today, that'll be due in 90 days from now. Now, if you live on campus, the only option you have is 45 days. So we have a short-term deferment. If you're expecting a refund, like you got a loan or you have a scholarship, and all of your fee bill will be covered, because we only refund you if your fee bill has been covered first, then and you have other remaining credits, then we will refund you. If you have not done so already, please be sure to set up your refund preference. And that can be done here at this website. We have an FAQ website also for refunds, and also for payment plans. There is an FAQ website as well, but you will need to set up your refund preference, because we only send our refunds to one bank, and that's called Bank Mobile. And then from there, you can use that as a checking account if you want, or you can have it directed to your personal banking account. Residency. So we get this question a lot, because a lot of students, they might believe that they've lived here for a year, so that they are resident and they should be getting in-state tuition rates. That is not the case. It does not automatically happen like that. The residency is determined based on the answers that you provided in your admissions application. And so if you think that is an error, or you believe you should be considered a resident, then you can complete this residency questionnaire. Be sure to read it in its entirety and submit all the necessary documentation, because it is kind of lengthy and it does require a lot of documents in order for that to be determined. But it also details on there where to turn it in. You don't mail it in, you don't email it in, you can email it in, but it tells you where to submit it. All right, we also have lastly our student health insurance. And so this is just the basic synopsis of the website here. You can look at this information, but just be sure that if you sign up for student health insurance, that you know beforehand, before you actually need it, that what your insurance covers. And then you can review your health health plan summary of benefits, or you can check with your insurance carrier and or administrator if you have questions or concerns about your health insurance. All right, now I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Fitzgerald Smith. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Sherry. Okay, greetings, guys. Welcome to Houston. Welcome to the University of Houston. I'm sure you're eager to start the new semester. So my name is Fitzgerald Smith, Associate Director of Graduate and International Admissions. I'm just here to share some brief information about admissions that you may find useful. Okay, so you're a new graduate student, and part of the admissions requirements for graduate programs is that you provide proof of a previous degree earned. Okay, so what does that mean? If you're a domestic student, which means you attended school in the US, right? You got a bachelor's degree. What you should do is send the official transcripts to us electronically. You can contact the office of the registrar of your previous institution and have them send it to us electronically. What we're looking for is a degree conferral date, a degree conferral or awarded date. Now, if you're an international student, or let's say you attended university outside of the US, right? What we're looking for is official academic documents, typically a transcript, or it could also be something like a diploma supplement, and also a final degree certificate or diploma. For instance, if you come in from India, right, what we would require is your semester-wise mark sheets and your provisional degree certificate. Now, typically, if you do not provide these documents, what you may see on your account is called an RCT2 hold or PDV hold, prior degree verification. It just means that we haven't verified your previous degree as yet, okay? And so once you submit those documents to us, then we can verify your degree. Typically, we take between 24 to 48 hours upon receiving those documents. And if you're in doubt as to what documents you actually do need, feel free to contact us at gradschool@uh.edu, and then we can answer those questions. Now, similarly, as a graduate student, one of the admission requirements, of course, is test scores, right? Official test scores. And so if your program did require the GRE, many do not right now, but if your program did require the GRE, then you are to turn in your official GRE scores to us. You can have your testing center, which is ETS, but GRE send those scores to us electronically. Okay. And so once we get those and then they're received in the system, then we can lift the hold. Also, if you are from a non-English speaking country and then your part of the admission requirement is to demonstrate English language proficiency through testing, then we also require your official test scores, right? You may have taken Duolingo, you may have taken IELTS, right? Or Pearson Test of English or the TOEFL. And so what you can do is to ask these testing centers to send the scores to us electronically. Just as with the GRE, once we get the scores, okay, we try to lift the hold within 24 to 48 hours. If you believe scores have been sent, but you don't see the hold lifted, please send us an email at gradschool@uh.edu so we can take a look at your account. Okay, so you've arrived on campus and you're wondering how to provide your official academic documents to us. So if you're an international student, what you can do is you can drop by our office, okay, and then you can see a transcript analyst and provide those documents to the analyst. We have analysts available from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. No appointment is necessary. And on this slide has our location, okay, 4104 Martin Luther King Boulevard, the Base Law Building, Suite 15, Houston, Texas. Okay, we just ask that students, when you do arrive at the grad school office, you just check in at the front desk, and then the transcript analyst will be notified. Lastly, many of you asked this question. So ISSO does have a mandatory orientation. That's tomorrow and also Thursday. Okay, so if you are arriving, you're an international student, you'd want to attend. Any further questions, you can also contact ISSO. Have a good semester, guys. Next person. Okay, let me turn it over to my colleague, Dr. Funda Sahin.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to University of Houston. We're glad to have you here. My name is Funda Sahin and I serve as the ombudsperson for University of Houston graduate and professional students. So you might be wondering, what is an ombudsperson, or when do I go and see an ombudsperson? This is basically a voluntary, free of charge, informal resource for you. It's a confidential resource where you can come and meet with me and raise your concerns about workplace or academic issues. And if you're dealing with interpersonal difficulties, those would also be some reasons why you want to come and see me. Or if you just need a objective perspective. So if you visit the website on graduate school about Ombuds services, I provided a detailed explanation of what I do and what I don't. Again, it's a confidential resource. I don't reveal any of our discussions unless I feel that there's a danger to you or to somebody else. If you would like to meet with me, all you have to do is using the email address on this slide, you just contact me, and within 24 hours, I'll get back with you and about a time to meet. Again, I'm more like your thinking partner in exploring options on how to resolve the concern or the conflict that you might have. So if you, no problem is big or small. So if you have any issues, just feel free to reach out, and have a great semester. And now I'll turn it over to Dr. Larson.
Thank you so much, Funda.
Mm-hmm.
So just a couple more points that I wanted to share with you. If you have questions after this session, you can go back and look through the slides. We gave you a number of different options for reaching out to different offices on campus, depending on what your question is. Your graduate program is your first point of contact for most questions, particularly for academic questions related to coursework that you should be taking, things like that. If you still need assistance, you can reach out to us through gradschool@uh.edu, or you can drop in during a scheduled live chat time that we have available as well. And our schedule is posted on our graduate school website under Contact Us. So we've mentioned this, Fitz mentioned this in his presentation. The graduate school office moved last summer, just about a year ago. We are now located in the Bates Law Building at 4104 Martin Luther King Boulevard, room 15. You can find us at this location now. We are excited to have you here this fall. We'll be hosting a graduate student welcome event on September 5th from 10 to 2. more details to come, but we'll have swag available. We'll also have food or snacks. You can stop by the graduate student office to pick up your free t-shirt for new graduate students from 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. So if you want your UH red t-shirt to wear on Fridays, please stop by our office to pick that up. So now I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Jones again for a conversation with a student.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Larson. Can I have our graduate student panel come on? Great. Is it just you, Chris?
I think I
And
saw it.
Elizabeth?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Okay, I will give our student panel an opportunity to introduce themselves, the program that they are in, and how long have you been at U of H?
All right, thank you. My name is Chris Bender. I'm going into my 3rd year. I'm in the Master of Architecture program, professional program, and I'm with GPSA, Graduate and Professional Student Association, where I'm the College of Architecture representative. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elizabeth. I am going into my 4th year of the PhD program and in the Developmental, Cognitive, and Behavioral Neuroscience program in the Department of Psychology. I'm also a member of the Graduate and Professional Student Association at UH.
Great. Thank you both, Chris and Elizabeth. So I will just ask a few questions to each one of you and call on you, and then you could just give your perspective as a graduate student. So Chris, we'll start with you. What are some cool things someone new to Houston can check out?
For Houston, so you'd be surprised that the landscape is not that great as you expect, but first and foremost, make sure to check out NASA. If you're coming to Houston, make sure to check out, I'd say an Astros game. Make sure to check out a Rockets game, Texans game. You'll really love it. And also, Houston has a really big museum district where they have different museums like MFAH. Make sure to check those out. They have great student discounts that you can use, and also there's a great aquarium downtown. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. And just to keep in mind, that's why you need that Cougar card, because there's a lot of discounts and free things that you can get with your U of H Cougar card. So Elizabeth, how do you manage your work-life balance? Sorry, there's something going on with your mic. It's a little staticky. Okay. Yeah, it's still very staticky. I'm not sure. Chris, do you hear the static, or is it just mine?
Oh, I can hear the sound, and I can hear the sound.
Okay. Go ahead, Elizabeth. Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and Chris, can you answer that question for me? Elizabeth's mic is not working properly at the moment. So how do you manage your work-life balance?
Well, graduate school is a little overwhelming because most of the time graduate students, you're maintaining a job and you're also attending school. So I think really mainly it's about managing my time, especially with assignments. Like once assignment comes in, you begin working on it because those will really take your time. And also like make time for yourself, like at some point during the week, say go out or like go relax. And also avoid having deadlines that are like conflicted. So you got a work deadline coming up, you got an assignment deadline coming up, and also all in all, it's very important to communicate with your professors or with your workplace. Say, hey, I got this deadline and I got another deadline. Can I push this? That helps, and you realize that we have a very understanding faculty that they know the situation you're in and they want the best for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. And also to add to that, a calendar. Calendar has been our best friend in graduate school. So I think Elizabeth is back. Elizabeth, where can students find student organizations online?
Yeah, is my microphone better now?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Okay, I don't know what happened. Sorry about that. So UH has a student organization database that you can look up and search based on specific criteria, based on your background and everything. The college and department websites also have great lists of on and off campus student organizations to join. There's also usually a student organization fair at the beginning of each semester that you can attend. You'll get a lot of like free stuff, and that's a really good way to network and look at what's out there. And of course, you have this graduate and professional student association that you can join as well. We have events every semester.
Absolutely. Again, another reason why you need your Cougar card. So Chris, are there any great places that students can study on campus?
Oh yeah. So you got the UH libraries that were mentioned. I'm in architecture school, so we have a really good library at the architecture school that I like to use. And then apart from that, you could go like different spots on campus, like the Nuke. You could go like to Cougar Grounds, and if you want to sit out, you can sit like out by the architecture building. There's a really cool spot there. So yeah, the university does offer really nice places. Or if it's something that you can do, you can also do it like say in the student center. Like the student center has different locations where you can just sit and study for a bit. So yeah.
Right, absolutely. And if you like the outdoors, U of H has a lot of great green space as well that you can just find a space under a tree, especially when the weather is going to be getting nice here in the fall. Elizabeth, how can students get a campus escort if they have evening or nighttime classes?
Yeah, so there's two methods. There is a Cougar shuttle ride, which is run by students that you can request to be dropped off at specific places on campus, so like the library, certain parking lots, certain dorm rooms. There's also the security escort that is run by the UH Police Department that you can also call, and they will take you anywhere that you request on campus. So you have two different options depending on availability. You just call the phone number and they'll help you get you situated.
Awesome, great. Thank you, Elizabeth. Chris, this is a huge question that was asked in the morning session and a few this evening. So about parking, do students have designated parking areas on campus?
Yeah, students do have designated parking. I think probably the question is how do you get parking? I know there's a parking and transportation office that you can go to, and also you could use your UH Access account, and you could also use like their website. And apart from that, UH also has allocated parking spaces that are also safe for guest parking. So if you have somebody coming over, they could also be able to access those.
Absolutely. And the Metro Rail as well. So UH Parking also offers Coast, which is a discounted rate for UH students. Again, get on their parking website and you'll be able to get that information. One last question for you both. I'll start with Elizabeth. Elizabeth, what is your biggest tip and advice for students coming from undergrad to grad?
Biggest tip is to be prepared for the independent nature of it. You're going to have a lot more things to balance in your schedule. You're going to have a lot of new due dates that don't necessarily align with your classes, and you're just going to be doing a lot of new things that undergraduates don't normally do. So take advantage of the resources that your department offers, that your college offers, that UH offers as a whole, things like CAPS, the Student Center, the Office of Major Awards and Grants. They are all committed to your success as a student, and they really want to see you succeed. So that's my biggest advice. Be ambitious. Don't be afraid to go after things that you normally think that you might not have a shot at, because you never know. And we're here to support you.
Great. Chris, if you could take that same question, what is your biggest tip from going from undergrad to grad?
Well, for grad school, I would say grad school is overwhelming. The pace is different from undergrad. Use the resources that you have. Your professors, those are not just your professors. Like I was looking at professors as consultants. Like when you're stuck that is a great resource right there. So, and also I talked about grad students. Sometimes the majority of them, they'll be working, and I know that some of y'all have like had to pause your career to come to grad school. So it means you coming back to school to do something that you really want to do, something you're passionate about. So take charge like of the electives that you're going to pick, like take something, pick electives that you like, electives that you think will help you in your career, and make the most out of it.
Great. Thank you both, Chris and Elizabeth, for your advice to our graduate students. Graduate students, we wish you the best of luck this upcoming academic year. And if you have any questions or need any resources, please reach out to us. And I will hand it back over to Dr. Larson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tashima, and thank you to our two student panelists, Chris and Elizabeth. Your insights are much appreciated by our incoming students and by all of us. So you can follow us on social media. Here are a few links to that. Also, make sure you check the graduate student listserv. I do send out a message each Monday. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. I'll let you know about events that are coming up during the semester, professional development, social events, research events, opportunities for you to connect with your classmates. So I hope that you have found this session to be helpful and you've gotten some of your questions answered. I see that we've pretty much kept up. Maybe just we'll stay on for another minute or so to answer any last questions that you have. But I want to thank all of our panelists and all of our participants in the session today. I also want to give a special thanks to Bridget Jones for leading the orientation team this summer and all of the graduate school staff for their efforts in planning this orientation. And thank you and welcome again to the University of Houston. I hope you have a great start to your semester. Bye, everyone.